Getting into money flow, 3 secrets to massive change. So I'm so glad you made it. And I'd like to introduce myself a little bit. My clients call me the go-to girl because I bridge their gaps and I clear their bullshit. I can smell bullshit a million miles away. Just ask them. And I help to move them forward with ease. And when I say ease, that's because I believe in a well-supported woman. And so I have done a beta program recently where people had unlimited access to me, and we just worked on whatever was coming up next. What's the next step? What's the next project? And if there was something that I could do, I did it for them. I did things with them. It was amazing. We ended up publishing, I think 3 books came out of that. One gal published 2 books in 2 months, and we worked on website copy and got everybody authentically in alignment with who they are and their message. It was really special. So as a coach, I find the gaps and corral the chaos that keep powerful, soul-centered female entrepreneurs from moving their business forward with ease. And my background is I came into a marriage after a 33-year starter marriage. So 5 years ago, married Vettrus-Nichols, who's in the back there monitoring everything for me today. And he's waving. And yeah, so we came into this new marriage with 5 businesses, didn't have a clue what the coaching industry was all about. And we were over at one of Terry's friend's house on weekly meetings for, what was it, like speakers and teachers and healers and whatever. So, and that guy's wife hadn't attended the events, and then whatever she was involved in quit. She was able to join, and she had left a professorship at a university. She had gotten into the coaching industry. She'd only been in the industry for 4 months and was already making more money than she did as a professor. So I was very interested, very intrigued with the coaching industry because I really didn't know what I wanted to be doing. And and neither did Terry. So he was retired Navy, right? So anyways, we found ourselves at this, I found myself actually at this huge event, calling home going, Terry, we need Infusionsoft. We need to be in this program. And he's like, come on, we'll talk about it. It's like, oh, the best deals are here. So that coach had invited me to that event, and I ended up connecting with a couple who had opened a spiritual center, and they knew the laws of the universe, and they were marketing coaches and did authentic relationship marketing. And so when I did get home, we had a call with them and ended up purchasing their VIP day. And so when we got to the VIP day, it was like, you're going to be evolutionary healer, you're going to work with healers and practitioners, you're going to sell a 3-month $5,000 package, go. And we're like, okay. And for me, I was relaxed because Terry sold cars, he'd sold men's and women's custom clothing, you know. I'm like, he'll do it, that's fine, it's cool, right? Well, I'm a manifesting generator, and when I'm happy and content and at ease, that's when I manifest. So we got home and we were, you know, calling people, different people we had connected with, just chatting with them, finding out, you know, what they were up to. And usually when you ask people what they're up to, eventually they say, well, how about you? What are you up to? So those were the conversations going on. And I got invited over to somebody's house. We were in Minnesota. We have basements there. And it was someone who was having a health fair in her basement. So when I was over there, I ran into a mom that I had worked with, her daughter. I helped her with her daughter about 7 years prior. So we're just, you know, chatting it up, basically commiserating about her daughter because her daughter had gotten into some alcoholism. And then finally she said to me, so Linda, you know, what are you up to? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm in a new marriage, and we went to high-end coaches, and we brought 5 businesses together, and my husband figured out a process that together we had further developed it, and we put it into our business, and it finds whatever is like hidden in someone's background that's really getting in their way. We started this process we figured it out, and we ended up, putting it in with coaching as far as like, working with the person and then working on their business. So anyways, I was just telling her about that, and she said, so you're a coach now? And I said, yeah. Why? And she goes, well, I'm a realtor now. And she said, and I know I'm going to get a real estate coach, but there's something in my background and I can't get to it, and I know it's in my way. And I would love to work with you and your husband. I'm like, okay, that sounds great. So boom, first client, right? And so then 2 weeks later, I was talking to somebody. I wrote the book Challenging Children, A Puzzle to Be Solved. My background is special education, and I was helping parents pull their kids out of ADD, ADHD, autism biochemically. And she had invited me to a health fair, I don't know, maybe a year prior, and to sell my book and stuff. So anyways, I was just chatting with her. And so she then said, so how's it going with you? And I told her, I was in a new marriage, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, so you're a coach now? I'm like, yeah, why? It was the same reaction. She says, well, I have a coach, and he's really good, but I feel like I'm done with him. I would love to work with you and your husband. I'm like, okay. I was amazed. I went back to my coaches going, okay, it's my first month in coaching. I just had a $10,000 month. What was this all about? I don't get it. And they're like, well, you were selling to, and I stopped them. I said, you call that selling? And they're like, yeah. Okay. You were selling to the people that you had already established the know, like, and trust. And I'm like, okay, that was interesting. And so that was my first exposure to authentic relationship marketing. And, I further developed that and went on to teach it because we joined their mastermind, and, the people in that mastermind, they use that stuff, but they don't teach it. So I believe I'm the only one that's even teaching it. I also added vibration to it, authentic vibration marketing. So that's how, things got started for us. And it was really amazing to work with people to, help them with self-sabotage. Terry's background was like high success, self-sabotage, high success, self-sabotage. And for me, I lost my father to suicide. And so I have a real heart for the veterans and us losing so many veterans here, even in the United States, to suicide. So eventually, the process that we take people through, we were able to help veterans with complex PTSD, post-traumatic stress, and suicide ideation. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs who deal with depression and suicide ideation. So we're so thrilled at with things actually turned out, and so it's been quite a ride. Let's put it that way. So anyways, yeah. So for today, we're going to keep moving along here, and I have some slides. Siri, do you want me to move the slides or with the arrow?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that. What's that? Oh, right here on the screen. Okay, cool. All right. So if you're ready to hear the 3 secrets to massive change, just put a yes in the chat box. We do have the chat box available here. Okay. So there's 3 secrets, and they align with each other, and basically it's getting in alignment with yourself. And when you do that, there will be plenty of things that come up. In coaching, we say your shit's gonna come up. And it's about releasing all of that as it does come up, and also just being aware that it is coming up. So, and then what keeps you spinning in your patterns? How about you guys? What keeps you spinning in your patterns? Is there a pattern of behavior that you've seen kind of show up again and again in your life or in your business? So feel free to type that into the chat as well. And I'll wait a second. What keeps coming up? Or what just kind of gets you spinning in a certain pattern? while you guys are doing that, I'll tell you a little bit more about our story. I'm a big inner peace person, and Terry's a big world peace guy. But we didn't know that about each other. In fact, when we first met, we were at a meditation, a peace meditation actually, at a friend's house, mutual friend's house, and we had never seen each other before. And he came in and he just immediately turned, and I didn't really pick up on that till 10 months later when he told me. He said, you know, I saw you at Mona's, and when I saw you, I just wanted to scoop you up in my arms and tell you you're mine and I'm marrying you. And I'm like, you want to marry me? Now, he had no idea when he saw me that I was married and that I had actually just gotten an attorney to get a divorce 10 months prior, right? And so he's like, I just want to scoop you up in my arms and tell you I'm marrying you. And he said, I didn't know what that meant because I was in a committed relationship. So it kind of freaked me out. And he goes, I just went into the kitchen to become the good boy, to be a good boy. And I'm like, you want to marry me? He goes, yeah, I still feel that way. And I said, when do you want to marry me? And he goes, a week and a half, 2 weeks, take your time. And I'm like, you're not kidding, are you? And he goes, nope, sorry. So basically I went home crying, and I texted him and said, she ponders these things in her heart. And I was like, okay, now I feel like a Virgin Mary. Like, this is really getting weird. And he texted me back almost like a poem and finished it, you know. It's like, and we talked for 3 hours. And when his daughter found out, she freaked out because he doesn't talk for 3 hours to anybody, including her. And she's the same way. They're both Capricorns. So she really was fascinated, like, who is this woman that has captured my father to be able to talk on the phone for 3 hours, right? So what we found is that, the idea that you can't have world peace without inner peace really came out of our work. And our work really does bring people to inner peace. So that's a little bit about my story. Okay, so what do we have here for keeping spinning in the patterns? We have a yes, and then risk avoidance. Ah, yeah. And fear of failure. Okay. So Liz, as far as risk avoidance, is that like money risk, risk of investment, or risk of not being perfect or not being seen? And then definitely fear of failure. Yep, we get that. Yes, okay. Like all of the above. Okay, cool. All right. Oh, and Stacy, feeling overwhelmed. Yeah, that one can catch up with us for sure. All right. And so there's something back there that drives that. And that's, I know, let's see, keep going, sorry. I've got a little trick here with the slides. All right. Okay, so the first secret is alignment, all right? So in order to be in alignment, it's really important to get in touch with your essence, which is really your soul, like who you really are. And so one of the things that I ask my clients to do, even like when we're chatting on the phone or whatever, is to take their hand and put it out in front of them, make a fist, and then take that pinky side of their fist and bring it in under the belly button, between the belly button and the pubic bone. That second chakra. I don't do chakras, I don't teach chakras. I just know that that's the second chakra. And I also know that that's where sex and money live. It's also your core, you know, if you're thinking about, you know, on the physical level, you know, Pilates teachers or yoga teachers, they'll talk about your core. Well, that's where your core is as well. It's where your power is too. And it is a different place than your heart. So I find that the ego can still be part of the heart, and there is no ego and there is no pain body when you're living fully present at the level of your soul. The other thing that happens, and I don't know if you're noticing in my voice, because I do have my fist down there right now, is your voice slows, or your cadence, whatever, your voice slows down and you get calmer. And I remember Terry and I were at a networking meeting and it was packed. We were actually in a bar and it was jam-packed. And he goes, eventually he's like, well, maybe we should like move around and, you know, get a few cards or something. And I said, no, they'll come to us. And he's like, what do you mean they'll come to us? They can't even move in here. And I said, they'll come to us. And we literally left that bar with 16 cards. People did come to us. And so what I teach my clients is like, when girls go to the bar, right, young girls go to the bar and they're going to like pick up a guy, what they're actually doing is from that second chakra, they're shooting out energy, and then it's kind of like, you know, fly paper. Guys kind of get attracted to that, and then they kind of reel them in. And I'm talking about the opposite, where instead of pushing energy out, you're actually attracting people because you're here in your power, and that's what draws them into you. You don't have to shoot it out. And when Terry and I were doing events, we were at an event where we they always work the ego in high-end coaching. All of a sudden it's like, yeah, you're going to, we made a $17,000 investment, right? And we ended up we didn't know when we were going to speak. We were breakout speakers, right? And we had no idea we were going to make a professional video to be shown to 800 people. They just like grab you and go, okay, make your video. It's crazy. And so you're not even sure if you did okay on your video, right? There's nobody to give you any responses, and it just gets shown to 800 people, right? And so at the end of you know, our video, our commercial for our breakout was shown, people actually came up to us and said, you know, your video was different than everybody else's. And we're like, really? Why is that? And they're like, because everybody else was like pushing their energy out. They were almost like leaning forward, but you could really feel it. They were just pushing, like, come to mine, come to mine. And you guys, you know, you were drawing us in, and you were saying like just enough to get us interested. And we didn't completely understand what you were talking about, but you gave us enough information that we really wanted to come and hear it. And we were like, well, that's good, because we found out at the last minute that we would be breakout speakers on Friday morning at 8 a.m. in Las Vegas, right? Like, I'm like, who's going to come? Talk about mindset work in a 4-day event on Friday morning, right? Well, that room sold out by 10-2, and we had people stop us in the hallway, and you know, later, and they were like, hey, I tried to make it to your breakout, but you know, they locked the doors early. And I said, I know, we filled the room. So it's very cool. So anyways, get in touch with your essence is about being so solid and sure of who you are at the level of your soul that people are actually attracted to you. All right, and then make quick intuitive decisions from your soul. Now let's go back to the idea of like pain body. That's all your junk from your past, the stuff that, you know, keeps you upset or whatever. And then there's the ego, and that's there to protect you, right? That's all like in your humanness. At the level of the soul, neither one of those exists. And so when you go to that second chakra, when you go to that place, when you go to your soul, you're no longer in pain body, and you're no longer in ego. And the thing about pain body and ego is that they interact with each other. And a lot of times the ego will set off the pain body and get it, you know, upset about something. And sometimes I think the pain body gets the ego going too. So they play together. So I believe in walking down the middle of those two. So pain body on the left, ego on the right, and you're walking down the center, right at the level of your soul. And all that extra junk isn't coming up. It's such a beautiful place to be. All right. And there are, when we talk about choices, so decisions, quick intuitive decisions do come from your soul. And my husband's always talking about there are no good memories, there are no bad memories when we take people through our process. And I talk about there are no good choices and there are no bad choices. There's just choices to be made. Choices, you know, decisions. And like if you don't make a decision, we all know in coaching, if you don't make a decision, you've made a decision, right? All right, let's keep going. Okay, so the second secret is release. All right, so how do you do that? Well, you can kind of take inventory of the things that have triggered you, things that have like set you off, and you can. Well, I know like when I'm talking to people on the phone, I'm saying, even if they're not a client, what's coming up for you. And that always shines a light on what is to be released. And so like Stacy was talking about overwhelm, right? Okay, so there's overwhelm. Let's go deeper. You know, when does overwhelm hit? Why does it come up? You know, so taking inventory on just watching your behaviors, and even through food. You know, we can have reactions through food. Terry can attest to this. If I have chocolate with a chocolate liqueur to it, about 3 days later, I'm crying. I'm just a puddle. And he just sort of waits for it, you know. So we were really happy to find out that if I avoid the chocolate liqueur type chocolate, I don't have those issues. It's been a real relief in this marriage. All right, so take inventory, what sets you off, and as you drill down from there, you'll be able to pick up on what it is to be released and who it is to be released. Sometimes lots of times it's a who. And it's really amazing how simple little things in our background, like we have a client whose father, you know, she was at like the lemonade stand, Kool-Aid stand idea, and he's like, you're never gonna make any money at that. And it's like, what? Yeah, and then an uncle patting her on the head going, that's okay, honey, you'll just be an at-home mom. Well, those two combined, that second one was like a tag, we call it, those two combined had her really set off. I mean, even though she was the CEO of many startup companies, she feared losing her job because she'd just be a stay-at-home mom and she wouldn't make any money, which to her meant they would starve. It didn't mean that she had a problem with stay-at-home moms. So yeah, finding out what it is there that is to be released is huge. Okay, and then we've been talking about walking at the level of your soul. So important. And Jesus did that. So, you know, go look at the Bible. You'll see great examples of walking at the level of your soul, just the way Jesus handled himself. So, okay, and then unplug the movie player. That's what we do. All your cells have your life, your movies even of your life. And part of the process that we do is keeping people out of motion and keeping them out of emotion so that they're in a healthy, detached place, which is really living at the level of your soul. So it is a real trick to you know, be this soul that has embodied and to actually be fully embodied. So I'm coming out with a book, The Fully Embodied Woman, Perfect in Imperfection. I'm getting so excited about it. Okay, anyway, so unplug the movie player is to get yourself out of emotion, get yourself out of your stories. That will also help you get yourself out of overwhelm. Okay, and then grow the wounded child within. You know, I hear people get on stage and talk about, you know, their inner child is like 4 years old and she's hiding, you know, and she just talks to her and says, you know, you can stay hiding, but I'm going to go out here and do my thing. And, you know, that's great. That will help. There's so much more, though. And this is what I have found in the work that I've done with clients is you can actually grow the traumatized child. And it has to do with, okay, if something, you know, happened at, say, age 3, or for one of my clients, it happened when she was an infant. We have, you know, I just talk about like, how old's the baby now, right? And I had a client go from infant to age about 24, 25 in like 3 weeks. It was incredible. It's incredible how quickly you can grow the wounded child. And so, you know, if you know anything about child development or have had kids yourself, you can keep tabs on it. But what your reactions are, you can check in with them. like, what age is this reaction? Like, oh, even like 4-year-olds will lie, or 9-year-old girls are depressed, or 14-year-old girls are depressed, boys a year later. You know, and of course, you know, any kind of like meltdown, temper tantrums, that's like the 2-year-old, right? And so you can keep tabs on how the, you know, the traumatized you, how old she is. The other thing is, you know, if parents were narcissists or not treating a person well when they were little, that person gets to turn around and grow themselves up being the parent that they are choosing to have had, that they wished they had had, if you will. So that's been really cool work that I've been doing too. So that's, and why to grow the wounded child is so important too, because otherwise, you know, that child's in control, and that child will put you in overwhelm and all kinds of other predicaments and really hold you back. Okay, and then the active block, that's what we find. You know, people with modalities, they talk about how there's all these blocks. We haven't found that. We call them tags. They're all connected to what we call the active block. That one thing that happened way back when. And you know, Abraham Hicks says whatever happened to you in past lives, right? You bring that to this life. So we don't go into past lives. I mean, if somebody does, you know, whatever, some people don't even believe in that. So it doesn't matter what you believe. If you land yourself in a past life, you know, whatever. That kind of happened in the beginning, maybe a few people, and then after that it stopped happening because we were really working right here in this life, and it's just been so interesting. And that active block reminds me of like us finding it of the Wizard of Oz. So Dorothy goes in and there's all that smoke and mirror routine and the great balls, you know, it's scary. And then Toto, her dog, just pulls the curtain back and it's just this little old man. And that's what Terry and I are. We're Toto, and we're just revealing that simple, sometimes very simple thing that happened way back when, that is driving your entire life, creating event after event after event, all those tags that, like I said, other people call blocks. And so the interesting part of our work is that, like, a psychologist will move from the front of your brain back, and they do a lot of cognitive work. We're coming from the back of the brain forward, and you notice that there's like filters all the way up, and so whatever happened is driving energy, sending energy, and attracting things into a person's life, where trying to get to it this way doesn't work because it's a one-way filter. So we're not in the medical industry, and we do things completely different, and it's question and answer, and it's just stopping the movie player. So it's been fascinating work that way. And then finding peace. What I love at the end of the process we take people through is this huge sense of inner peace. It's like a wave of inner peace. It's just so beautiful. And what we were doing was, initially, you know, we were using it in coaching, and then we started doing events, and people just wanted to, you know, they might have had a coach or whatever, they wanted to try it outside of coaching. And then people just got hit with this huge sense of inner peace, and that's what they wanted. I mean, that's what they wanted for others. And so they're like, you know, will you teach me how to do this? So we actually opened an online academy to teach practitioners. We call it, it's a 30-day VIP experience. We call it the CR process because we take 30 days. So it's like 3 hours on Skype, and then it's a week of journaling of what's coming up for you, and then I analyze the journals. I love that part. I guess that's my special ed background. And I have actually figured out the 3 stages, what I call the 3 stages of the female psyche from those journals. It's been fascinating. Then we work on the person's business on day 15, and on day 30, it's like our well baby checkup, and we go over, you know, what anything else that might be coming up for them. And that's when we get our testimonials. They're really clean, mean fighting machines by day 30. It's been so cool. And we just get thank you after thank you for the inner peace that we've actually brought into someone's life through our process. All right, so in summary, we have alignment, being fully in alignment with ourselves and checking in with ourselves to know when it is that we are out of alignment. And then there's release, knowing what's back there, what's to be released and who is to be released. And our releases are cool. I've done them even just on the phone recently, you know, just having conversations with people, and they're very powerful. And so at the end of, in a release, it's about chewing the person out that is kind of tripping you up and has a hold on you. If we don't release people, they literally almost like have us by the ankles and, you know, like their talons in us. And sadly enough, a lot of times it's parents or family members. So, you know, figuring out who's to be released and then chewing them out. Not, you know, oh, well, I know you didn't mean it. No, love them tomorrow, chew them out today is what I say. And then we have some neutralization wording at the end of that release. And that's been very beautiful. And we have found that a person can't say those words if they're not done. They can't say them accurately. It's a phrase, and they can't do it unless they're really done releasing the person that they're doing the release on, I should say. Yeah, so anyways, and then also grow the wounded child within. So important, and just really monitoring that and checking in and seeing where that wounded child is, and watch the growth happen. It's pretty cool that way too. All right, so I have a solution for you. I'm offering a custom 6-month Getting in the Money Flow VIP package. Now, this came off of my beta where everybody had access to me, and it was so beautiful because we were all connected at the level of our soul. And at one point, somebody kind of let go of the energy, and then it faltered just a little bit. Otherwise, you know, nobody got in each other's way. Somebody needed me every morning at 8 a.m. and somebody needed me on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 1 o'clock. And, you know, somebody needed me to be like doing like more editing. And when I've been working on books, I have this amazing clarity exercise I do with people, and that frames out their book, that frames out their PowerPoint presentation. I can do an interview with them. You know, it's like whatever somebody's next step is in their business. You know, that's what the beta was all about, and that's what's still going to be going on in this package. And so we do that clarity session, like I said, that frames out a person's book, gets them super clear from the level of their soul of what's their message, what are they doing in the world, what's their purpose. It's really beautiful to tap into someone's essence and be there soul to soul with them. And then the releases I've been talking about, you know, what's coming up for you, and if there's somebody to be released, that's part of it too. And like I said, that next step project, and it's just amazing how we don't keep going, and all these little things get in our way. And so I'm holding space for that person 24/7, and you know, whatever is next, we just get it done. It's so beautiful. And it so doesn't happen in typical coaching. And I really wanted to create something that is different and really supports a woman. I seriously believe in the well-supported woman, and you know, this is kind of like how I'm proving it. I interviewed over 50 women, and I, you know, have a really good idea where women tend to kind of fall apart. And you know, sometimes husbands don't support us, and sometimes we actually use that as an excuse to hide behind and keep us from moving forward. And also, it just drains our energy, and moving forward with ease just isn't there. And that's what I'm here for, to move you forward in ease, with ease. All right, and so then weekly there'll be money flow sessions and anything that's coming up. It includes a mastermind, so I'm bringing in experts for the mastermind once a month, and covering all kinds of things, and it's in particular like whoever is in this 6-month program, getting specific to their needs is exciting too. All right, so what I'm doing though is for the first 5 people that are signing up for this, I'm also adding in my vibrational design assessment, which is $97, and a 30-day VIP CR experience. That's the process that Terry and I take people through. And it's, both of us, so Terry takes them through, I do the analyzing of the journal. I mean, if somebody's more comfortable going through the process with me, that's fine too. And so that's like a $2,772 value. So this package it's $525 a month for 6 months. That is so doable. And the reason it's doable is because it's all about money flow. Where is your money flow? And how do I support you in moving you forward with ease? We're looking at your life, we're looking at your business, and definitely building your life so that we can build a business of ease around your life. All right. And then we also offer a solution for our veterans. So Terry and I are going to donate a CR to 5 veterans and or family members. So we really have a heart for the vets. We took 3 female combat vets through our process. 2 of the 3 were dealing with suicide ideation. And they were all 3 suffering from military sexual trauma. So we find a lot of sexual trauma, actually, probably almost 70%. So you might know you've dealt with that in the past or not. And a lot of times we actually do uncover a hidden sexual trauma that someone knew nothing about. And actually that was the case for me and for Terry. So, and we had one of our master practitioners finally take us through our own process, and we were pretty deflective. So that was really beautiful, and that only happened this past, for me, like last fall, and for Terry maybe about 7-8 months ago. All right, so our attitude is together we can stop suicide in its tracks. And if you know anybody who's dealing with suicide ideation, please send them to us. The first time that happened, I was like, just send them to a psychologist. It's like, yeah. So it was pretty amazing. It does what we do. It does stop suicide ideation in its tracks. Very cool. Okay, so action equals money flow. So give me a call. There's my number, 651-246-9288, or go directly to the PayPal link. Terry's going to pop that into the chat for you. And you can grab your bonus today. Anybody have any questions? I'd love to do a Q&A. There it is. There's the PayPal link. All right. So it's just $525. Just go ahead and put your $525 in, and then you're all set. We'll send you the contract after that. Any questions? Okay. So if you want to know more and you're not sure yet, go ahead, give me a call. The first 5 people will also get the CR process included in their package, which is awesome. Thanks for coming, everybody. Bye-bye.